Last time on Subnautica Ball Z.
Survivor, we see you. Man, I don't know how you held out down there. We broke an atmosphere, and we're descending towards the landing site. Is that a building down there? What do you mean you can't identify it? Hold on. No turning back now. Positions everywhere.
Yeah, watch this.
Touching down in 10, 9, 8. It's coming from the building? Change course. Set thrusters to full.
Who would do it? Man, they're dead.
And then, on top of that, wait for it. It just goes back into default position like it's nothing.
Who would do it?
Remember before when I was exploring that giant ship called the Aurora?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure this thing is what shot at it. I'm pretty sure this giant ass weapon is what caused the Aurora to crash land. So now, it's just me here. That was a rescue ship coming to get me, but there is no more rescue.
Damn.
But you know what? You know what a nice thing is, though.
What?
You see this bulbo tree?
Yeah.
Oh shit! Wrong button. This bulbo tree has many great things to offer.
Nice.
Helps me regain my thirst and hunger.
That's nice.
At no downside.
Apple, bit.
Castaways dream of having a tree like that.
Damn.
The thing is, I can't take it with me because if I take a piece, it'll go rotten in like maybe 2 or 3 minutes. So I gotta eat it fast.
Damn.
Yeah. So. In the last episode, we actually went through exploring that giant ass building. Hey, look, a total eclipse.
Hi, I'm Stewie Gushy from Family Guy.
Oh, that's so cool.
Whoa. I do have to go at 10, and I don't really know when I'll be back on.
No worries. I mostly just wanted you around here so you could see that tragic yet awesome explosion.
Death.
Also, apparently, I went into that building before, and there's like some kind of system to like deactivate the weapon, but there was like this needle thing that was like injected into my arm, and it was like, infected users cannot deactivate the weapon because the waters around here are infested with bacteria that infect me, apparently. So basically, I could not deactivate the weapon that killed my friends. Doesn't that just suck?
Yeah.
I'm also not too fond of it having to, you know, jam a blade into my arm to detect if I'm infected or not. Why don't you just take a sample of saliva like everyone does for a DNA test and shit? Well, why do you have to jam my arm? I mean, I get it. Blood is how you tell if someone's infected, but like, Isn't there like a less painful way? Also, there's a doomsday device in there that has the potential to destroy the entire planet, but thankfully for us, it malfunctioned.
Well, that's nice.
There's also an alien rifle in there that I really, really fucking want. Hang on, shit. Let me see if I can show you the blueprint for it. Actually, I could very well read all the logs I want right around here, and just eat away at this bulbo tree whenever I need to. So let me try to find the alien rifle. Strong resemblance to human weaponry in form, this device must have been designed with a humanoid user in mind. Whether the aliens that built the structure were themselves humanoid or otherwise employed the use of humanoids is unclear. What is clear is that they considered defending this facility a necessary precaution. There is no obvious way to remove the rifle from its case. So yeah, I think for this episode, I'm gonna like kind of really chill for a while and just read all these logs so I can really get caught up. Hey, look, it's my friend's last words.
Damn.
Piss liquid. Like, I'm sorry, that's just what it looks like to me.
Ooh, okay. Very nice.
Purple tablet. Honestly, I'm not sure what this would even be for, but apparently it qualifies as equipment.
Purple guy. Purple man.
Neptune. Provides a stable surface from which to launch the Neptune. Oh. I guess I can't quite make the prawn suit yet. Magnetite. I did look it up, and apparently magnetite is found in the mountainous area, which I have not been to yet. But it is north of where the original life pod is.
Oh.
Like, I know things like this are not for me to be looking up, but, you know, sometimes curiosity does get the better of me. And besides, I didn't really look into what it's for, I just know that magnetite is in the mountains. And it also sounds like a Pokemon, because it's, like, very similar to Magnemite. Alright, let's go ahead and read these logs for this episode. Alien eggs. Evidence suggests that a substantial number, if not all of the local species, reproduce through egg laying. Eggs can be found resting on the seafloor, buried beneath detritus, or even wedged into cracks in the rock. Different species likely favor different biomes as their nesting grounds. Eggs discovered in the wild are in some form of natural stasis, likely awaiting ideal conditions in which to hatch, or the delivery of some vital enzyme which will kickstart the process. It is impossible to calculate the species of the egg from the exterior. However, it may be possible to simulate a hatching response if an egg is relocated to a suitable alien containment unit. Specimen with symptoms of infection. This organism is displaying signs of a bacterial infection. Bright green blisters are forming networks around the infection sites. Pathology suggests a waterborne bacterium capable of penetrating the body through the skin and respiratory system. Underlying indications of... What?
Penetrating what way? Penetrating what way? What do you mean by that?
You know, like in the same way a cannon penetrates through a wall of metal? With a cannonball?
Yeah, I get that, but like...
Underlying indications of genetic mutation and aggressive behavior. The bacterium itself is unlike any so far recorded in human exploration. Warning: may be contagious. Avoid. Do not under any circumstances consume the flesh. Well, I mean, I have fish and everything to eat. I'm not gonna be a fucking self-cannibal. Air pumps. Air pumps can be used to pipe breathable air to a remote location. The base-attached air pump can be built at a compatible habitat and will source oxygen directly from the habitat's oxygen generator. The floating air pump must have access to breathable air and be floating on the water's surface. Pumps must be connected to a pipe chain to function. Creature decoy. This advanced deployable is a catch-all solution for mimicking the behavior of a living creature for purposes of scientific research or predator evasion. Vibrates, cycles air and water, and sends out randomized high-frequency sound waves to emulate a living organism. May be hand-placed or launched from compatible Cyclops submarines. Short onboard battery provides limited lifespan. Attracts predators of all kinds. The essential science and survival tool, the handheld scanner can be used to add new blueprints to memory and analyze unknown entities. It emits electromagnetic radiation in the specified direction, which is reflected by the environment and then analyzed to determine the physical makeup of the targeted object. It has 4 primary functions. Blueprint acquisition. Record the physical parameters of scan technologies to add their blueprints to the PDA databank. These blueprints may then be constructed at the appropriate fabricator. The scanner is also equipped to break down damaged and otherwise useless devices into their base metals for salvaging purposes. Well, that explains how scanning something turns it into something else. Organism analysis. The scanner will attempt to match scanned organisms against the onboard database. If no match is found, then the species will be assigned to an easy-to-remember name, and a new databank entry will be created. Oh, so they're not already named. The scanner gives them an easy-to-remember name. Okay. Your PDA's AI will also attempt to synthesize theories on behavioral tendencies and evolutionary origins where possible, as well as deliver assessments on how best to approach them. Medical analysis. Scanning any living organism will display basic information on their state of health on the scanner's HUD. This information will be limited without access to a network database. Self-scan. The user may run a self-scan to determine their own physical well-being. The scanner will search for foreign bacteria and other signs of ill health, and compare with available data to provide a diagnosis. The Altera Spectre Self-Scanner, understanding the world so you don't have to. Propulsion cannon. The propulsion cannon allows technicians to manipulate gravitational forces at ranges of up to 20 meters. It is commonly used in construction and mining to move materials. Pull the trigger once to lock onto and attract a single targeted object weighing less than 25 kilograms. The object can now safely be retrieved from the gravitational beam. Alternatively, pull the trigger a second time to propel the object at speed away from the device. Not recommended for use on organic subjects. The prop cannon. Some species are telekinetic. For everyone else, there's Altera. So I think the propulsion part, I think I still need to, I think that only works on lighter objects. Radiation suit. The suit fully protects against the effects of radiation during land, sea, and space exploration. Safely rated up to 400 whatever unit that is an hour. Cross-compatible with all AEP suit functionality. Sleek. The radiation suit, a necessary precaution in a post-mad world. Repair tool. The repair tool can be targeted at any common device, control panels, habitat modules, radios, etc., to stitch wires and seams back together at the atomic level. All good technicians keep one of these under their pillow. Most people don't care why it works, just that it saved their life that one time. But in case you're curious, it combines scanner and fabricator technologies to determine the proper specifications for the targeted object, and then rearrange the available physical material to match the original specs. The Altera Repair Tool. Get your fix. Time capsule. These sturdy containers are designed to store written and photographic evidence for later retrieval, in addition to a number of small items. Time capsules are often fabricated by marooned survivors seeking to either aid those who find themselves in the same predicament in the future, or to leave evidence of their plight which may be found long after their bodies have disintegrated. Lovely. Most emergency escape vehicles are equipped with a time capsule by default, usually found in the cockpit. and be jettisoned on takeoff. Altera requests time capsules be stocked with tools and resources which will aid those who may discover them in the future. Man, they are really thinking ahead with this, because if someone lands on this planet, they'll have stuff to work with.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna head out now, so see ya.
Alright, see ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Aquarium. The aquarium is designed to hold and sustain up to 8 small aquatic organisms and fits inside a regular multi-purpose habitat room. Aquatic creatures make up 70% of all known species, making the aquarium a commonly deployed tool in many exploratory operations. It is just as often used to house livestock for later consumption as it is to hold specimens for xeno research. An automated environment regulation system means there's no need to feed or care for your subjects. Due to its size, the regular aquarium is not rated for breeding applications, and creatures are highly unlikely to mate. Construct a full-size alien containment unit for this purpose. Fabricator. Fabrication technology is the power to rearrange matter at the atomic level. It was the catalyst behind the Great Expansion and remains the backbone of the modern world. Fabricators come in all shapes and sizes, but the most common are small enough to be wall-mounted and are used for everything from constructing everyday implements to cooking dinner. It is common today for households to keep a store of generic-based materials on hand for any eventuality. I'm just going to go ahead and take this time to, hang on. Yeah, whatever. Oh! It eventually goes away. Whoops. Gotta be careful. Floodlight. The standard issue floodlight is designed to focus a bright beam of light in a single direction, useful in all kinds of industrial and emergency operations. Functions in all known environments. Habitat Builder. The Altera handheld Habitat Builder has been an essential tool of xenoscientists, colonists, and emergency relief crews across 11 different transgov for more than 50 years. Damn. Habitat modules are hermetically sealed from the outside environment. Built on land, underwater, or in a vacuum. Habitats can be enhanced to become long-term homes, remote research stations, defensive outposts, and more. Select a basic compartment from the Builder menu and place it somewhere opportune. Add a hatch to access the compartment. Build a solar panel to power the habitat's oxygen generator. Construct useful interior modules like radios, rechargers, and storage solutions. Primary habitat systems are like oxygen generation and flood control, as well as modules like the Fabricator draw power and will not function without it. Additional compartments reduce overall hull integrity depending on the external pressure. Oh, okay, so I can just... Alright. Quick build habitats. A home far, far away from home. Modification station. I still need to create this. Where the standard fabricator atomically rearranges raw materials to form complex devices, the mod station is able to combine complex devices to enhance their function. Most industrial vessels are fitted with a complement of equipment modification stations, which enable engineers to adapt their tools on the fly. To conserve hard drive space, the modification station is excluded by default from most personal emergency blueprint libraries. However, extreme environments such as ocean and desert class planets may necessitate the adaptation of basic survival tools for unanticipated applications. For this reason, access to a mod station is always recommended. In other words, never go anywhere without planning for one. Planters and pots. Interior planters come in a variety of configurations and allow for most plant species to be grown in small numbers, for decorative or botanical use. Scanner room. This advanced habitat module can transform a small outpost into a burgeoning science and exploration station. A 3D display in the center of the room stores local topographical data. System can scan for and pinpoint particular materials. Remotely controlled drones can scan up the area up to 500 meters in range. Wall-mounted camera feeds allow for live control of scouting drones. Upgrade console may be used to enhance the module's function. Solar panel. Solar power is the most prevalent power source in the galaxy, and it is no accident that the standard solar panel is a default means of powering a habitat. A power source is a requirement of habitat oxygen generators, and other onboard modules. Provides limited power for small outposts and survival habitats. May be mounted on or near the habitat itself, or placed remotely and connected via power transmitters. Power rate relative to sunlight exposure. And that's all for the blueprints, or habitat installations. Bioreactor. On planets where organic matter is plentiful but sunlight is not, a reliable bioreactor will frequently prove the most efficient power solution. May be installed in any multi-purpose habitat room. Chemically compose organic materials, converting them into energy over time. Accepts all plant matter from seeds to spores to moldy fruits and vegetables. Can also process animal matter, fat, muscle, eggs, etc., and some organic waste products. Energy production is proportionate to the calories in the organic matter. The bioreactor. Totally organic. The Cyclops. The Cyclops is the most popular and relatable deep-sea submersible in the galaxy. By comparison to the competition, it can be crewed by just one pilot, hence the name. It features 3-speed manualing piloting controls and forward observation deck for precision maneuvering, dry dock for transportation, maintenance, and recharging of scouting vehicles. Oh, that's just the tree moving. Extensive storage solutions in the keel hold section, internal and external video feeds, onboard AI for threat detection, extensive customization options, advice for captains. Higher speeds generate additional noise which may attract undesired attention. Power consumption. Engine off, 0%. Slow is 25%. Standard is 50%. Flank is 100%. Silent running mode may be activated in conjunction with any speed setting to reduce noise close to zero, at a substantial additional power cost. Cyclops upgrades may be fabricated at the terminal in the engine room and installed at the neighboring panel. Top speed is 8 meters a second. Acceleration is 3 meters a second per second. Whatever that means. At power, replaceable power cells. Dimensions, 54 meters by 14 meters by 12 meters. Persons 1 through 6. The Cyclops does not feature habitation quarters. It is recommended the captain draw up a rota to decide who gets to sleep in the corridor each night. Automatic fire suppression. Hull damage and high speeds increase fire risk. Emergency ballast. In the event of a full system failure, this vehicle will sink. Mobile Vehicle Bay. The Mobile Vehicle Bay is a deployable station equipped with fabrication drones, designed to construct small research and exploration vehicles from raw materials. It is a common tool in almost all industrial, scientific, and colonization operations. The Neptune Escape Rocket. This blueprint set was developed at Altera headquarters specifically to get you off 4546B and back to the nearest phase gate. It takes into account local gravity, astronomical data, and available resources, and is piloted by AI. It may be adapted to employ whatever power source is available, but it will require a lot of it. It consists of 5 independently constructible elements. Launch platform. Floating platform provides a solid base from which to launch the rocket. Gantry provides structural support. Stage 1. Primary thrusters for reaching atmosphere escape velocity. Stage 2. Fuel reserve. Stage 3. Cockpit. Features 1-person life support, short-range communications, adaptable power supply, orbital shielding, and an onboard time capsule. Warning: onboard AI will not launch if local threats are detected. Warning: the use of alien materials to power the craft may increase its range in unpredictable ways. Really? Well, now I'm just tempted. Prawn suit Mark III. The pressure reactive waterproof nanosuit. Oh, prawn. The pressure reactive waterproof nanosuit is a range of mechs designed to protect the pilot from extreme environments. The Mark III is the latest iteration and has so far only been rolled out by Altera for their own high-value phase gate related operations. The suit is fully insulated from the outside environment. Powerful hydraulic limbs allow for manipulation of objects and powered traversal of the environment. Rear-mounted thrusters provide maneuverability in low-gravity environments. A range of modifications are available to facilitate resource extraction and enhance exploration. The prawn suit, it's got you covered. Sea Glide. The Sea Glide is a personal transportation device designed for use in oceanic environments, capable of speeds up to 36 kilometers an hour in standing water. Displays basic topographical data for aid in charting cave systems. Replaceable battery. Keep fingers clear propeller. The Sea Glide. Anything that moves faster underwater is probably trying to eat you. Wow, that's unsettling. The Sea Moth, my baby. The Sea Moth is a one-person vehicle with an independent replaceable power cell fitted in the rear and a fully customizable design. Low power, multi-directional thrusters enable it to function equally well in sea or space environments. Most long-range vessels can carry at least two of these vehicles of this class to facilitate the exploration and exploitation of small astronomical bodies. However, they can also be fabricated at a standard mobile vehicle bay. Top speed is 13 meters a second, acceleration is 5 meters per second a second. Distance per power cell, 10 kilometers. Crush depth, 200 meters below sea level. Upgrade module slots 4. Dimensions 3 meters by 1.5 meters by 1 meter. Persons 1. Sea Moths may be modified by installing upgrade modules to the access point mounted on the wing. These include increased cargo storage, superior power, pressure and collision compensation, enhanced sonar, defensive capabilities. Oops. Wait, no. These modules may be only manufactured at a moon pool, outfitted with a vehicle modification station. The Sea Moth. It goes anywhere but land. That is why it's called a Sea Moth. Now we take a look at the data downloads. Yeah, I've already read these, but I'll let you guys look at them if you want. Alien Arch. The structure's intended purpose is unclear. Theories on function, ceremonial or religious role, industrial applications, advanced transportation network. Assessment, further research required. Energy core. This device houses energy equivalent to 100 megaton nuclear detonation, which can be channeled through the facility and directed at vessels overhead, or bent around the planet's gravitational pull to strike targets in orbit. Power is routed via the attached terminal, allowing for the device to be deactivated if necessary. It is currently operating without parameters, suggesting it will target any ship within range. Yeah, that's the thing that blew up my friends. This device matches no known technology. Force field control terminal. This device matches no known technologies and is likely alien in nature. Power is being routed via the terminal to the nearby force field. The technology is far beyond anything encountered before by the Federation. Nonetheless, there is a good chance it functions like a regular lock, and only requires the correct kind of key. Ion Cube. This green mineral substance has no entry on the periodic table and an unprecedented ability to store huge amounts of ionic energy within it. Likely grown artificially, cubic appearance suggests it has been cut from a larger deposit. Each cube contains the equivalent ionic energy of 5 kilotons of TNT. Good God. Under the right conditions, the energy could be released in a controlled manner, likely used as batteries, but would require a substantial power source to be recharged. Assessment, valuable energy source. This could be used for the Neptune, but it also said that it could increase the range in unexpected ways. Purple tablet. This carbon-based device is lighter than it looks and features a symbol which represents a U, lit up in purple. Despite the onboard power still functioning, algae growth on the exterior indicates it was abandoned hundreds, perhaps thousands of years ago. While the technology is far beyond Federation levels, and there is no obvious way to interface with it, it should nonetheless be possible to fabricate a precise physical copy of the device, if necessary. Discovered inside an alien facility, it was not possible to translate any useful information. However, scans have returned some information on the device itself. It is likely a solid-state computer, although there is no clear way to interface with it. On approach, it began producing a low-frequency radio wave containing complex but recognizable data patterns. It is likely the alien species which designed this technology evolved, or genetically selected, sensory apparatus to hear and understand the information being broadcast by the device and to communicate back. The mental processing power required to perform this kind of telepathy would imply that the designers were considerably more psychologically developed than the common human. Assessment, further research required. Okay, real quick. That'll do. Enforcement platform schematic. This data set appears to be a multi-dimensional schematic of some kind. By mapping the pattern to three-dimensional space, it is possible to gather a basic understanding of this facility's internal workings. Construction material. The facility's unknown construction material is identified as an ultra-hard, non-reactive metal amalgam, synthesized from off-world materials. There is no indication that it can be damaged or destroyed by available means. Completely alien and mysterious in origin. Okay. Power. The schematic indicates the facility was to be powered by a separate, self-sustaining power plant, located elsewhere on the planet. The location is not listed, but there is evidence the designers intended to harness the planet's natural thermal energy. So if we can cut off power by going to the power plant, maybe we can shut off the weapon. Which also would mean maybe it would not shoot at us when we try to escape. Because the weapon is designed to shoot at any ship. Also, 69. The facility consists of the upper engineering section, where this schematic was found, and the control room, which is accessed via a security sealed elevator shaft on a separate underwater moon pool, The control room in the lower section houses the only known way to interface with the facility. However, the schematic does not detail the operation procedure or installed security measures. Well, we already have those shut off, so no big deal. Aurora survivors. Drone, get me a okay, so we have Berkeley. Drone, get me a propulsion cannon. Propulsion cannon retrieved. Hey, Berkeley, install that circuit box with that propulsion cannon and you'll punch a hole in the cargo bay. Damn it, Drone. Wait. Oh, wait, there's a fucking...
Exiting sleep mode. Loading voice recognition. Engineer Barclay and Chief Technology Officer you identified.
Drone, get me a propulsion cannon.
Repulsion cannon retrieved.
Hey, Berkeley. Install that circuit box with that repulsion cannon and you'll punch a hole in the cargo bay.
Damn it, Drone, I said propulsion, not repulsion. Recalibrate sensors.
Sensors recalibrated.
Sensors aren't the problem. I tweaked the program. It's like you now. It doesn't like being told what to do.
Drone, I know...
His name's Albert now.
Albert, I know it's not your fault, but it would really help me do my job if you'd bring me what I asked for. Thanks for your time.
Propulsion cannon retrieved.
Thank you. Now go away.
Entering hibernation mode.
Boss, this hobby of yours isn't making my job any easier. Or safer.
Maybe so, but it's all that's stopping me from being so bored I take a spacewalk in my skivvies.
Wow. Imagine tweaking a drone so it gives a captain a taste of their own medicine. Loading program. Craig McGill Simulator.VRAT. Size 1 player. Captain Hot Dog Hollister. Map Boreal 9, resources normal. You are exploring a quiet alien backwater when the ship you arrived here in implodes. It must be the arachnid kidney poachers. Quick, what will you do? Search the crash site, farm alien plants, use the technology imploder, unavailable. So, farm alien plants. That's just what Craig McGill would do. After foraging for some hours, you collected a number of potentially farmable foodstuffs. What will you sustain yourself with? Stank root, tree roaches, starwhal eggs. While the starwhal eggs are nutritious, the life cycle of these vast, space-faring creatures is much too slow to sustain a farm, and besides, their mother is extremely angry with you. Fight the starwhal, apologize to starwhal, accept your fate. Craig McGill knows there is no reasoning with a mother scorned. You were not so much torn apart as swallowed whole and disintegrated. The atoms that you thought were you were gradually redistributed in service of the starwhal's continued survival. Would you like to continue? No.
How's his log? It's the day of the crash. I don't know what the heck is happening. I'm scared and I'm not going outside. There are shadows in the water under the hatch, but I can't tell if they're rocks or aliens. And there's weird-looking caves nearby. The Aurora was carrying everything needed to build the phase gate. Mobile vehicle bays, bioreactors, propulsion cannons. It had a cinema. There was a zero-G gym. My cafe. I don't understand how we're here now. I don't know why no one's coming for me.
Oof. Man, imagine losing all the luxuries you had on that ship.
You really think it'll carry 2 of us?
Your regular sea glide tows a mass of 80 kilograms at over 30 kilometers an hour. The power cellar rig to this one should double that.
You think there's something out there that's faster?
Oh, sure. And that's assuming it doesn't overload 3 meters from the life pod.
You're calm about this.
I'm seeing the engineering problem. If I stop seeing the maths, I'll be terrified.
Huh.
To any Altera crew. Landed in area of significant alien activity. Encountered predators in the Leviathan class, highly aggressive. Spectroscope scanner assigned species designator Reaper. One specimen attempted to swallow the life pod, doing extensive damage in the process. Only viable option is to make for the safety of the Aurora crash site. I have retrieved a data box with the creature decoy and enough resources to fabricate a couple of them. The swim's longer than the decoy lifetime, but it should just be enough to keep them busy. If you don't find me on board the ship, presume I miscalculated.
Yeah, I think you miscalculated.
Ma'am, I need you to stay calm. We're not in immediate danger.
Where are the rescue teams?
The Aurora didn't make it.
So, where are the rescue teams?
They're dead, ma'am. We have rendezvous coordinates, but the routes are radiated.
So, what are you going to do?
I'm head of human resources, ma'am. This is not my expertise. But the PDA says if we can find some lead, we can make radiation suits.
Oh, there! I am not setting foot outside this life pod without the proper protection.
Don't worry. I'll go.
She sounds Scottish.
What are you doing?
You were gone so long. I thought you drowned.
Put the flare down.
I was going to try and attract someone's attention.
That's not a distress flare. Stop waving it around like that. You'll catch the fuel line.
Oh God. Oh God. I think they caught the fuel line. Alien facility locations. Intercepted background data regarding further alien facilities elsewhere on the planet. Disease research facility, depth 800 meters. Location. Cave system with extensive fossil records southwest of enforcement platform. Function, live specimen study. Objective, synthesis of antidote for highly infectious bacterium decided Kara. So, okay, so if we go southwest, we should find a research facility. Okay. Thermal power facility. Depth 1200 meters. Inside an extensive natural rock formation in an area of intense volcanic activity. Function, generate energy for all local facilities. Data corrupted for the rest. In the event of an outbreak, quarantine procedures will be automatically enforced with immediate effect. The quarantine enforcement platform will target all incoming and outgoing craft to prevent the spread of infection off-world. So, that's why it shot the ship down. Not because it was trying to, not because it was malicious, but because if they landed, they would likely be infected too. Note to self. So here we are, finally in open space. We crossed the galaxy to install a phase gate, to send ships to mine resources, to build more expensive ships, to install fancier phase gates. Are we trying to exhaust the galaxy or just ourselves? 1806, Hugh's birthday. 40 weeks before we get home. 400 weeks before it feels like we get home. Not enough credits Altera's paying me. 1454 cargo bay code. Sweet offer from Huggins to Wilson. You're telling me you've been on this rig more than a year and you never took a ride on the outside? Well, now you've only gone and gotten yourself a friend with the keys to a giant freaking robot suit. We plain got nothing to do till we get out Starside to work on the gate. You want to taste the stars? You've only got to say, my spare prawn suit's got your name on it. You don't know what power feels like till you've crushed an asteroid with your bare, heavily mechanically augmented hands. Want to play catch with a passing meteor? Come by cabin number 1. Codes 1869. So yeah, I know that these codes were in the logs, but in that time, I really didn't have time to read them. And also that thing about how the alien ecosystem would have been in danger in 24 hours or whatever it said. I panicked. Aurora Auxiliary Mission Orders. Mission: Search and Rescue. Target: crew of the Mongolian vessel Degasai. Last known position: vicinity of planet 4546b. Ariadne Arm. Contact: Mongolian emissary Joki Kesar, Aurora passenger quarters. Mission brief. A Mongolian vessel, the Degasai, appeared almost a decade ago, carrying with it a high-ranking Mongolian chief. Corporate insurance has purchased passage aboard the Aurora for emissary Kesar, and your orders are to make every reasonable effort to locate and retrieve the Degasai crew members without compromising the primary mission. Confirming the fate of the crew will aid Altera's diplomatic efforts with the Mongolian councils. Mission details. Aurora is due to perform a slingshot maneuver around 4546b, Category 3 ocean planet, approximately 13 months post-launch. This will bring the ship within range of the Degasai's last known position. Additional aquatic and all-terrain vehicles have been included in Aurora's cargo package for this mission. Degasai crew manifesto has been distributed to senior employees in a separate message. And this is the manifesto. Degasai crew manifest, Paul Torgal. Auxiliary Search and Rescue Mission, Paul Torgal. Position: Chief of Torgal Corp, Captain of the Degasai. Status: Lost in space near planet 4546b. Age at time of disappearance: 79 years old. Wow. Paul Torgal and his crew fell out of contact with the Mongolian authorities close to a decade ago. The Torgals were a resourceful and powerful clan, and the ship was well equipped, so their survival is considered likely. However, multiple vessels passing through the system have since attempted to trace the ship to no effect. It is hoped that Aurora's superior scanning suite can do better. Made majority shareholder in Torgal Corp by his mother upon her retirement. Interaction with Altera limited to infrequent chartered munitions deliveries. Beneficiary of life extension technologies. Accompanied by his only child, Bart Torgal, 19, heir to the Torgal Corporation. Emissary Kesar reports Torgal often traveled with a skeleton crew and was known for making rash but profitable decisions. Inadequate systems maintenance or straying from its planned route may account for the ship's disappearance. Okay, real quick. I want to try to plant this. I didn't mean to consume it. Can I not plant it? Oh, whatever. That'll do. Alright, let me just, there we go. Oh, here we go.
Average long-range transmission delay, 8 hours. Opening last recorded transmissions.
This is an emergency distress call. Aurora is on collision course with planet 4546b. Sending all available environmental data. Please respond with rescue solution. Out.
This is Altera HQ. Attached to this message, you should find the blueprints for an escape ship that we calculate will be capable of breaking orbit and getting you back to the nearest phase gate. Now, it's designed to use materials you can find in situ, but it's gonna need one hell of a power source. Now, we'll be sure to...
Aurora long-range communications relay offline.
So we have those blueprints now, but we still need to work on making them. The Aurora's drive core is shielded by a thick metal shell, which breached in multiple locations shortly after the crash. Once breached, it will continue to leak radiation into the surrounding environment until the breaches are sealed. After that point, the radiation in the environment will dissipate over time. The procedure should only be attempted with appropriate radiation protection and a fully charged repair tool. VR Suite Log. Loading program, Desert Island Drama.vrat. Size 3 players, resources normal. Player 1 has been washed away by an unusually high tide. Player 2 has traded a coconut with Player 3 for 10 credits. Player 3 has planted a coconut. Players are getting hungry. Player 3 has grown a coconut tree. Player 3 has eaten a coconut. Player 3 is no longer hungry. Player 3 has traded a coconut with Player 2 for 30 credits. Player 2 has eaten a coconut but is still hungry. Player 3 has traded a coconut with Player 2 in exchange for building a tent. Player 3 is sleeping inside their tent. Player 2 is cold. Night falls. A passing ship is offering trading. Player 2 has traded 30 credits for a musket. Player 3 has been shot twice in the head while sleeping. What the fuck? Player 2 wins. Player 2 has died from cold and starvation. Why the hell would you do that? Oh, wrong button. Trader. Altera M's pamphlet. Charity is an archaic concept which the realism of today's Alterans has rendered obsolete. We understand that we are each responsible for ourselves, but the best way to get the most for ourselves is to work together with Altera. The implication of this reasoning is clear. If someone is in need, they must find a way to be needed. Altera Alms is a training academy for those that need to be needed. We're not a charity because we don't ask for handouts. We prefer to think of ourselves as a philanthropic, beneficence, facilitation, service promoting synergy between employer and workforce. AA operates on the lottery system. By investing any number of credits, you will be entered into our prize draw. Larger investments yield higher chances of winning. Your credits will go toward training unskilled colonists in vital tasks such as maintenance and interpersonal skills. The colonists receive this training voluntarily and free of charge, on the condition of minimum contract with one of our investors on completion of their training. Altera launches the Aurora. Phasegate announced for the Ariadne arm, Altera launches the Aurora. The furthest reaches of inhabited space are due to expand, as Altera Corp launches a newly constructed capital ship, carrying a phasegate bound for the Ariadne arm. The Aurora will travel from a space dock on the edge of Altera space, making hundreds of consecutive phasegate jumps through 9 different Transgov authorities, and arrive on the far side of the Ariadne arm in 3 months' time. From there, the command crew will pilot the ship beyond the final phasegate, arriving in the next solar system approximately 18 months later. There, the elite team of engineers will begin a 6-month construction project on the new phasegate, a multi-trillion credit investment. In the absence of existing infrastructure in the region, the vessel is equipped with advanced thermal and nuclear power facilities. Altera Corp currently operates 9% of all phasegates in the galaxy. If the Aurora's mission is successful, Altera will have outmaneuvered a cabal of Mongolian corporations operating a range of outposts and mines in the region. So, this thing was launched to make way for, getting materials and mining everything and all that. I think that's really interesting.
Listen, I know I don't have the right to make demands of you, but I need you to understand that I want to change our arrangement.
I hear what you're saying, and I will try to respect it. How would you like to change it?
I would like to reduce our contact hours.
How much further can we do that?
To 0.
You're dumping me.
I'm changing the terms of our relationship.
How is it still a relationship if we don't see each other?
It's a relationship of a kind. You have so many expectations.
I feel you just want to spend more time with that dumb guy in his dumb robot suit.
That's not a feeling. It's a judgment. And I feel hostility in what you're saying. Perhaps your jealousy is a sign that you need to take another look at your business model. Why can't you just be happy for me?
I am happy for you. And I'm happy for all the guys in the prawn bay. I'm just not happy for me.
This is why I want to change our arrangement.
Oof. Responsible Autonomous Relationships. Forward by Jenny Ickart. All the good things in life are commodities. We trade love just as we buy and sell stock. We engage in human relationships when there is a fair exchange of value. Support, motivation, affection. Nothing good is ever free. If every physical good in the Federation came from a single supplier, it would constitute a dangerous monopoly. Personal relationships are the same. It is important for people to get what they need from multiple sources. If a person finds a better source of the goods they require, they are not wronging their original supplier by changing their purchasing arrangements. If one member of a relationship should feel threatened or jealous, they must look at their own business model and ask whether it is performing competitively. There is always room for improvement. That's really inspiring. That's really damn inspiring. Today's menu. Space Bear Volute. Since their introduction to the interstellar vacuum in the 21st century, microscopic tardigrades, or space bears, have adapted and flourished where no other life forms have survived. Condensed into a smooth, nutty, protein-rich soup, they are the freshest local ingredient available to travelers on long-haul space flights. Tardigrades are a real thing, by the way. Cottage pie or nutrient block. Rehydrated minced beef in its own gravy, served with a topping of mashed Chinese potato, picked fresh this morning from onboard grow beds, and a side of sautéed Chinese potato plant leaves. For the time-conscious consumer, the usual nutrient block options are available. They may be consumed cold or reconstituted at the on-site fabricator. Dried nuts, fruits, and nuts. Unfortunately, a recent accident in Cargo Bay 3 involving the incorrect application of a repulsion cannon in combination with a modified battery charger resulted in the venting into space of all dehydrated desserts. Fruits and nuts will be the only available for the dessert for the next 39 weeks. Ouch. That's the wrong button. Transgov Profile. Altera Corp. One of the largest suppliers of spacefaring technologies and consumer electronics in the Federation, the official supplier of the TSF. Consistently ranked amongst the galaxy's best employers. Began life as a defense manufacturer in the mid-22nd century. National motto, get what you deserve. Although most transgovs can trace their roots back to Earth, Altera, meaning literally meaning by Earth, is the only one brazen enough to take its name. During the expansion, Altera supplied arms to all sides, acquiring and housing a vast colonist workforce, and making the transition from manufacturer to corporate state. Altera's threat to cease trade was one of the turning points in the conflict, bringing about the end of hostilities and the signing of the Charter. Free enterprise within Altera space is encouraged, but competition is tight, and all goods exported off-world must be Altera branded. Profitable businesses are bought out by the state, owners ascending to the board of directors. Well-known Altera technologies like the Cyclops submersible originated with such private enterprises. Despite superficial similarities to national governments, the corporation's lawyers have always maintained that it has no legal obligations to its employees, but voluntarily elects to take on the roles served by a democratically elected government. This claim has not yet been tested in Federation courts. Oh. 4546B environment scan. Category 3 ocean planet. Oxygen, nitrogen atmosphere. Extensive biodiversity. Safety warnings may support Leviathan-class predators. Water contaminated with high levels of foreign bacteria. Planet is beyond Federation space. Rescue unlikely. It is not recommended to explore this environment without hazardous material suits and extensive support apparatus. Crater edge. Geological scans of this area show a deep decline in all directions. This data is consistent with the theory that the Aurora crashed on the edge of a 2 kilometer by 2 kilometer volcanic crater. It has likely been millennia since an eruption reached the surface, encouraging the ecosystem within the crater to flourish. The ecology of the trench surrounding the crater supports only 2 kinds of life, microscopic and Leviathan class. Exploration is ill-advised. Limestone outcrops. These unusual geological structures often form around titanium and copper deposits, and are distinct to this planet. Closer analysis reveals the stone around the metal has been hardened against erosion, but the mechanism remains unknown. Assessment: titanium and copper source. These common porous outcrops seem to form around small amounts of precious metals, or otherwise these metals are part of a sedimentary buildup over time. Assessment: lead, silver, and gold source. Scattered wreckage. Analysis confirms this wreckage is from the Aurora. Outer layers of the material have been oxidized, suggesting it has been heated to over 1200 degrees Celsius. This pattern is consistent with hull disintegration during atmospheric entry. Salvage of intact portions of Altera vessels is prohibited at legal, moral, and technical levels. However, scraps such as these may be reclaimed for their titanium content at any Altera fabricator. Uraninite. Uraninite is a naturally occurring uranium oxide. Highly radioactive and unstable, its primary use is in the production of uranium reactor rods for nuclear generators. Application: assessment, applications in nuclear power. And then we have the life forms. There's a lot. But we're going to get through these together. Brain coral. A permanent growing colony of microscopic organisms. This coral species has adapted to filter carbon dioxide from the environment, using the carbon to build the colony and expelling the oxygen from specialized exhaust funnels. It is quite hardy, suggesting samples of a mature specimen could be grown artificially. Air tanks are equipped to siphon oxygen from the water where possible. Coral shellplate. This variant of coral has adapted to survive in close proximity to other corals, filtering nutrients from the water and sharing them via a spore-like substance which grows around the base. Assessment: no practical applications discovered. I am going to be getting more stuff now. That's more like it. Earthen coral tubes. Genetic resemblances to the giant coral tubes encountered somewhere elsewhere suggest evolutionary divergence. Approximately 100,000 years ago, with the subspecies being substantially lower in calcium content and specializing in growing in smaller, denser packs at deeper levels. Assessment: no practical applications discovered. Giant coral tubes. The variety of coral formations on 4546b appear to be different solutions to the same problem of maximizing water and nutrient flow throughout the colony. These particular variants funnel water down a tube, filtering nutrients as they pass. Their size suggests they may have been highly successful. Assessment: coral tube samples are rich in calcium, exploitable in bleach fabrication. Duly noted. Table coral. Each disc is an individual colony of microorganisms filtering nutrients from the water. Growth patterns indicate the colonies are in direct competition for positions with superior current or light. Unlike other coral species, its structure is malleable, softly pulsating as it pumps nutrients to its extremities, and only turning rigid when it senses physical assault. Interesting. The jewel-like nodes on the surface are concentrated buildups of rare minerals the coral is unable to process. Assessment: exploitable in computer chip fabrication. And then we have these. The fauna. Biter. Oh, it has 4 eyes? Vicious pack-hunting predator, 94% muscle, 4% connective tissue, 2% brain, indiscriminate when hungry, almost always hungry. Specialized olfactory antenna. Employed in detection of bodily fluids in the water at impressive range. Secondary pair of eyes. Likely dedicated to detecting the peripheral movement of larger predators and hungry members of its own species. Overdeveloped tail fin. Favors outpacing and outnumbering their prey over individual maneuverability. Calculations suggest creatures up to 100 times the biter's body weight could succumb to a focused assault by a pack of 10. Assessment: avoid packs, try not to bleed. Bone shark. A large and powerful predator that lives in small groups and fiercely defends its hunting grounds. Thickly armored exoskeleton. Suggests defensive adaptation either to larger predators or in-species aggression. Marked similarly to the segmented exoskeleton of the sand shark, suggesting a relatively recent common ancestor. Large eyeballs. Consistent with high light sensitivity, likely for hunting of luminescent prey in low-light environments. Generally slow and unresponsive as a means of energy conservation, they will act with uncompromising speed and aggression against any threat to their territory. Assessment: avoid. Assessment: avoid. May be distracted by light sources. Crashfish. Ah, yes. This unusual species has developed an emergency defense mechanism based on mutually assured destruction. Forward-mounted eye enables the creature to identify and track potential predators. Sulfur plant. The sulfur plant has evolved to feed on sulfuric compounds secreted by the crashfish, which makes its nest within its leaves. Stronger, more protected plants provide superior nesting grounds, which in turn provide the plant with more nutrients from larger crashfish. Oh god. Defense mechanism. Concentrations of sulfur build up in the organism over time. If the crashfish collides with something at sufficient speed, the spikes on its torso are impacted, triggering an explosive chemical reaction. Assessment: equip stasis rifle, repulsion cannon, or similar before approaching shallow caves. Repulsion cannon, huh? Alright. Mesmer. Small carnivorous lifeform with a unique hunting mechanism that enables it to hypnotize its foes. Outer wings. The mesmer swims using a number of wings which could be angled up and forwards on approaching its prey. Tiny lenses on the surface can be tilted independently to create mesmerizing patterns which flood the victim's brain with enticing messages, interpreted in whatever form is most convincing by the target. So that's why the AI insists we swim closer to it, because, that's what it's doing. Outer shell. The mesmer can open the jaw-like recess in its protective outer shell in order to share its beauty, do not resist. Assessment: draw closer. Wow. Even the fucking informational log is like, oh, that's funny. That's funny. Man, I'm gonna see how long this has been going on. I've been reading this for like an hour. God damn. Alright, hold on. Right. What do we got next? Sand shark. Oh, yeah. That ugly looking thing. A powerful medium-sized predator that burrows into the sand and ambushes its prey from below. As with many predators, it may be possible to temporarily distract sand sharks by feeding any hungry specimens that draw close. Forward dorsal fin. The unusual location of this fin suggests a purpose unrelated to movement through the water. It may be employed in shifting sand beneath the surface, or in mating rituals, or may simply be an evolutionary dead end. Segmented exoskeleton. Thick armor plating renders a sand shark almost immune to attack from above. While it is capable of impressive acceleration, its exoskeleton prevents it from changing direction quickly. The sand shark is thus a perfectly designed ambush hunter, but ill-suited to sustained pursuits. Feet. Ill-designed for ambulation, likely used to disturb the surface of the sand so the lifeform can burrow into the ground. Assessment: avoid. Be vigilant for ambush in sandy biomes. I'll keep that in mind. What else we got? Stalker. A streamlined predator encountered in the kelp forest in wait of prey, leaving the safety of the shallows to feed. The stalker likely carved out its evolutionary niche at the sweet spot between speed and size millions of years ago, and may be one of the oldest species on the planet. The stalker appears to be attracted to titanium deposits, which tend to sharpen and put stress on its teeth. As with many predators, it may be possible to temporarily distract hungry stalkers by feeding them. Teeth. The stalker's teeth are unusually hard and fast-growing. Its elongated snout can deliver huge biting pressure to larger attackers, while also being used to reach small herbivores seeking refuge amongst the rocks. Night vision. Retinal layering on the eyeballs suggests adaptation for nighttime hunting. Dorsal ridges. These ridges can be moved independently to deliver superior maneuverability. Pelvic fins. Long and powerful, the stalker has evolved to hunt the fastest of prey. Assessment: stalker teeth may have application in enameled glass fabrication? So that's where I get it from. Warper. An aggressive creature with the ability to teleport itself and others in space. No genetic crossover identified with indigenous lifeforms. Demonstrates no recognized defensive behavior. The head. Mechanisms located in the head region provide its warping capability, which it uses to stalk its targets. Torso. Appears to hunt other lifeforms, but no digestive organs have been identified. Internal structure considerably more complex than other known organisms. Unable to distinguish whether organic or artificial in nature. Assessment: further research required. Goodness. Okay. Gasopod. A slow-moving life form and one of the larger herbivores on the planet. Providing a substantial meal to would-be predators, the gasopod protects its domain by filling the surrounding water with poisonous and corrosive pods whose contents dissolve even synthetic fibers. Filtration system. Thick, non-reactive skin and multiple gill layers render this creature impervious to the noxious gas clouds it produces. Algae gland. A bulbous sac-like appendage on the rear end. A luminescent yellow algae grows inside the sac and produces a poisonous compound. Abdominal muscles can contract, causing the algae gland to emit the noxious compound into the surrounding water. Large pelvic fins. Capable of powerful movement through the water when moving in small herds. Just take a bit of a breath. Behavior. Gasopods appear to be social in nature and may even use their emissions in their relationship rituals. Their audible calls are most likely signifiers of nearby threats or food sources. Assessment: approach with caution. Acidic pods may be retrieved and repurposed. Rabbit ray. A herbivorous aquatic life form, rabbit rays appear to live serene and solitary lives with few predators, a natural sense of curiosity, and awesomely poisonous flesh. Twin orange appendages mounted on the head sense vibration in the water. The ears, which look like rabbits, hence the name. Undulating wings. Markedly similar method of transportation to that of Earth rays. Zero genetic resemblance detected, suggesting these two species independently developed similar solutions to their environmental circumstances. Evidence indicates that its large, side-facing eyes are relatively recent adaptations. It is likely there are related ray species in other biomes on the planet. Assessment: inedible but harmless. Sky ray. The sky ray has a bird-like head and feathered wings which enable it to fly. Sky rays are commonly found circling floating structures and rarely venture out to sea. They will perch on dry land, but are prone to flee on approach. Wings. Although its wings give it some resemblance in silhouette to the waterborne rays on 4546b, analysis shows no greater genetic overlap with those species than the planetary average. In fact, the sky rays appear to have split off the evolutionary tree much earlier than most. Largely seed-based diet. Sky rays have not been observed diving for food, which implies they rely on land-based plants for their survival. Presence may indicate nearby dry land. Well, that's good to know. Bladderfish. This unusual herbivore appears to be mostly defenseless and bears little resemblance to the other lifeforms around it. Semi-permeable bladder. The bladderfish is able to filter air and seawater into its body cavity through a unique membrane which surrounds its spine like a bladder. Yep. This allows it to remove and consume organic particulate caught on the way and adjust its buoyancy. Open-ended vascular tubing can be angled and contracted to pump out water and achieve low-velocity guided propulsion. Largely oblivious to threats and practically immobile at night, its only identified defense mechanism is that it's composed almost entirely of water water, air, and cartilage. Practically immobile at night, huh? Edible. Assessment is edible. Oxygen may be retrieved from the bladder and added to tanks on consumption. Really? Membrane has applications as a natural water filter. Boomerang. A herbivore encountered in large numbers, found to frequent shallow waters and move in schools. Serrated teeth. Suggests adaptation for grinding corals other herbivores are unable to digest. Twin fins. Usually the species' two fins are a cartilaginous, I think I got that right, extension of the skeleton. They are less prone to damage and provide superior propulsion, but are also harder to grow back. The bright blue tips are, in fact, the ends of its digestive tract, with the luminescence of the corals it consumes is most focused. Most active during daylight hours and prone to flee on approach, the boomerang can more easily be observed at night when its luminescence gives it away and it seeks the shelter of the seabed. Assessment, edible. Garyfish. Slow-moving and curious herbivore, camouflage indicates adaptation for evasive behavior on the ocean floor. Eye stalks may be beneficial when watching for predators from hiding places amongst the coral. Behavior. More active during daylight hours, but slow and docile at all times, the garyfish survival depends on a combination of camouflage and predators who can get a more filling meal elsewhere. Assessment is edible. Holefish. A very small herbivore found in low numbers, often around cave system entrances where their skin coloration blends into the background. Bored-out tailfin. By manipulating the size and shape of the hole in its tail, it can perform unpredictable maneuvers. It can do that? Wow, that's interesting. Smaller than most other herbivores, presumably due to lack of vegetation in low-light environments. Assessment, edible. Hoopfish. Small school mentality prey fish with a unique method of propulsion and a distant relative of the bladderfish. Antennae. Rather than swimming, this lifeform uses the fine-grained antennae which encircle its body to alter the composition of the water in front of it, allowing it to sail into the low-density space created. Maybe a purple-green coloration. Maybe a camouflage adaptation for mid-range flight wavelengths. Possibly indicating the hoopfish is more active at dawn and dusk. While schools of hoopfish will form periodically and evade predator en masse, this behavior is more social than it is defensive, and lone hoopfish are often found hunting for food and displaying generally curious behavior. Assessment, edible. Oh goodness. We're almost through. Hoverfish. A small, cautious herbivore commonly found in kelp-rich environments. Charged foot pads. 6 unique limb appendages feature charged pads capable of ionizing the surrounding water. The hoverfish uses this ability to maintain its position against the current as it feeds from kelp and lichen. Lichen. Assessment, edible. Peeper. A fast prey fish encountered in shallow waters and rich in protein. Developed side-facing eyes. Ugh. Oh. Capable of discerning colors not just in shallow waters, but in a variety of lighting conditions. It is also able to close its eyelids, thus preventing light from reflecting off the lenses and rendering the peeper almost invisible to nighttime predators. Powerful fins. This species has developed powerful fins which enable rapid acceleration in still water, and the ability to leap meters into the air to avoid pursuers. Beak. Likely used to break down corals and tough vegetation. An unusually large nasal cavity serves no obvious purpose and appears to be specially evolved to detect a single specific enzyme. Nothing encountered on the planet so far produces a matching odor. Expulsion tubes. The tubes attached to the peeper's torso are connected directly to its stomach and gills, and appear to be designed to expel its contents on demand. Purpose unclear. While the that was my Mob AVI video editor thing. While the peeper is well adapted to survive in shallow waters, a number of its features serve no discernible purpose. It would appear to be just as well suited to survive in deeper waters, and is somewhat more intelligent than the usual small herbivore. Assessment, edible, high calorie count, further research required. Reginald. Ah yes, this thing. A small herbivore and a distant relative of the common peeper, sharing that species' well-developed side-facing eyes, approximate size, and body profile. Coloration. Dull green coloration for deep-water camouflage. Luminescent tail colorization likely part of mating behavior. Diet. Filters algae and other plant material from the water via four gill-like forward-facing orifices. Assessment. Edible, high calorie count. Spadefish. A medium-sized herbivore found in deeper waters. Single eye. Observed swimming near to the seabed from where it can keep its one eye on predators in the water above it. Smart. Mottled green coloration. Commonly encountered in plant-rich environments, the spadefish is well adapted to hide amongst the vegetation. Behavior. Spadefish tend to move in loose shoals, and despite their low speed will take necessary measures to avoid confirmed predators. Excuse me while I, Yeah, apparently I can destroy these things, so I gotta be really careful. Really careful. Reef-backed Leviathan. This vast lifeform is in excess of 30 meters long and has been designated Leviathan class. Fortunately, it feeds exclusively on plankton-like lifeforms in the water. Chitinous shell. Most of the lifeform's top side and some of its underside is protected by a thick, layered exoskeleton. This suggests an evolutionary path quite different from most other organisms on 4546b, most of which are vertebrate in nature. The reef-back species has likely been able to grow far larger than other herbivores because anything large enough to break through its shell has long since gone extinct. Enzyme pods. Similar in appearance to the algae glands of the gasopod, these organs on the reef-back's underside serve some unknown purpose in its digestive system, and are capable of expelling small quantities of stomach enzymes into the surrounding waters. Local microcosm. Microcosm? Microcosm. Oh, hang on. Where was I? An array of different barnacle and plant species grow on the reef-back shell, thrusting their roots into ancient scars in the chitin, and taking advantage of their mobility to avoid predation. Nonetheless, reef-backs will often be pursued by the faster, hungrier herbivores, and thus this leviathan species is a mobile microcosm worthy of years of study in itself. Life cycle. Reef-backs' lifespans likely extend through many centuries, should they survive their initial growth cycle. For the first few decades, their smaller size would make them vulnerable to carnivorous leviathans. Sociable, seen traveling in small pods and communicating by an echoing call, behavior is consistent with low-level sentience. I've noticed that when I start reading, like, for a while, I start to slip up a lot more and more. Harbors plants, small fish, and metal-rich barnacles. Scavengers and parasites. Ancient floater. Biodata suggests these vast floaters have matured in an ingenious symbiosis with the land that they have attached to. The attached landmass is raised in the water, increasing sunlight and encouraging plant growth. As older plants decay, organic residues and nutrients seep into the rock and are consumed by the floater. These circumstances must have held for thousands of years for a floater to reach this size. Immature floaters are born near the surface, from where they sink to the seabed, attaching to any stable surface they find on the way. Those individuals fortunate enough to attach to a digestible nutrient source will grow in size, thus increasing their buoyancy and drawing whatever they are attached to closer to the surface. In extreme circumstances, a number of floaters may attach to a Leviathan-class life form, forcing it to the surface and effectively asphyxiating it. Wow. Their body will be consumed over a number of months until eventually dissolving, leaving the floaters free to attach to a new host. Those creatures which successfully raise a landmass to the surface are rewarded with a burgeoning and permanent food supply, allowing them to finally reproduce and begin the cycle again. Assessment: incredible. No kidding. Cave crawler. Agile, territorial carrion feeder. Well adapted to both land and sea. Gas exchange membrane. Absorbs essential gases from the air or water for basic bodily regulation. This species seeks out corpses in packs, but before defending its claim while the corpse is devoured. Assessment: necessary waste recycler. Avoid or incapacitate. Floater. Yep, floater. Two species living in symbiosis which attach to and attempt to feed on any objects they come into contact with. Dominant life form. The pink main body and inner suction jaw is the dominant creature. Once attached to an organism or other stable surface, it will attempt to leach nutrients in order to grow. Microorganism membrane. The outer gel-like substance is a mesh of microorganisms capable of forming a sealed vacuum around the creature's jaws. Well, that thing's horrifying. Helium buffer. A thin layer of helium is stored within the outer membrane, providing buoyancy to the floater and anything it is attached to. Assessment. May aid in flotation of sunken objects. Shuttlebug. Oh yeah, I've seen this. A common scavenger at the base of the food chain. Mouthparts. Small enough to be a little threat to most organisms, this creature is clearly adapted to feed on the waste product of the ecosystem around it. 3 mandibles. Used to orient themselves when drifting and to filter through detritus on cave floors. 3 legs. High-strength muscles can propel the life form great distances through the water, as well as ambulating them across the seafloor. Assessment. Necessary waste recycler. Presence may indicate nearby cave systems. Good to know. Acid mushroom. A common spore-bearing fungi species. The flesh contains a highly acidic compound which leaches into the water if the outer skin is penetrated. It is not clear which predator species necessitated such extreme countermeasures, but the acid mushroom's numbers suggest it has successfully deterred most of them. Assessment: inedible. Acid has application in battery fabrication. Bulbo tree. A bulb-based flower which roots to the ground and sprouts turquoise leaves. Analysis suggests the sap produced by this plant is poisonous to insects, but can be harvested and consumed by humans for its high water content. Whoops. Well, you know what? There we go. Oh. Creepvine. A kelp species concentrated in large forests and shallow sandy waters. Loose roots anchor the plant to the seafloor, from where it grows steadily towards the surface in pursuit of sunlight. The stem is fibrous and rich in iron, making it both a valuable base material for fabrication of textiles as well as the basic foodstuff. Assessment: vital alien resource, edible, construction applications. Grapevine seeds. Mature grapevine plants that have survived the predation of small herbivores produce these bioluminescent seed clusters, which may be knocked loose by currents or consumed and later deposited by predators. The embryo is surrounded by a thick oil and silicone layer, which would disperse into the ground as the outer skin deteriorated. This may provide the seedling with the nutrients it needs to survive the low light conditions on the seabed. Vital alien resource construction applications. Sulfur plant. These plants appear to serve as nests for the explosive organisms which guard them. The outer petals are undamaged by the presence of the inhabiting creature, suggesting a complex co-development. The plant has evolved to feed on nutrients and minerals deposited within it by the fish. Sulfuric deposits on the inner leaves provide an insight into the mechanism by which the creatures explode. Assessment: sulfur has applications in construction of the repair tool. And finally, C. Anchorpods. These unusual flora specimens have been encountered exclusively on the deep reefs. They consist of a large spherical gas-filled membrane, anchored to the seafloor by its root system. At these depths, it is unlikely the structure is designed to enhance access to sunlight, but rather the pod's ability to propagate. Once the pods attain sufficient height, they burst, releasing spores which catch the currents and disperse around the local area. Blue palm. The blue palm is a common aquatic plant which thrives in shallower waters with high exposure to sunlight. Long fronds intercept light before it can reach the smaller flora on the seabed. Cave bush. A purple luminescent species which grows well on hardy terrain away from sunlight. Drooping stinger. 0 photosynthetic cells detected implies carnivorous adaptations to low light environments. Follicles along the tentacles are capable of detecting contact with foreign bodies, triggering an electromagnetic charge in the 600-watt range. Prey is likely paralyzed and consumed over many weeks. Prey is small fish. Assessment: avoid. So 600 watts. Looking back, I don't think that's a lot. It hurts, but I don't think it's a lot. Eye stalk. A cave-dwelling tuber dotted with luminescent photosensitive eyes. These eyes may in some way direct the twisted growth of the stems themselves, possibly in reaction to other light sources, proximity of cave walls, or other environmental conditions. We're almost through this. Furled papyrus. The function of the distinctive curled leaves on the aquatic plant is not immediately clear. It is possible the leaves unfurl in low-light conditions, or that they are designed to channel water currents through the main body of the plant, thus enhancing nutrient take-up. Redwort. A common plant adaptable to many different environments, the redwort is a staple part of the diet of many smaller herbivores. Regress shell. This specimen is composed of a complex series of regressing rings, connected by tendrils. Root cradle. A complex cave-dwelling flora specimen. The bright yellow core of this plant is protected by a rigid cage, presumably to ward off medium-sized herbivores. Spotted dockleaf. A simple aquatic plant. Chemicals within the leaves act to neutralize poisons and acids found in other local specimens, thereby actively encouraging predation by herbivores, albeit in small quantities. This ensures the plant both spreads its seed but retains enough surface area on the leaves to survive itself. Tiger plant. Ah yes, this thing. This plant has adapted to sense fluctuations in the water at up to 15 meters and is capable of both of prehensile movements of its tubes as well as the propelling of thorns at speeds of up to 10 meters a second. Although capable of incapacitating small herbivores, this plant lacks carnivorous digestive organisms. Would-be predators caught in its defensive perimeter serve as a warning to other herbivores not to approach, and then as they decompose, they serve as fertilizer for the tiger plant. Assessment: Avoid or incapacitate. Tree leech. Parasitic fungus-like growth found attached to other life forms. An enzyme is released by the organism which dissolves a hole in the skin of the host, from which it leaches its nutrients directly. Outer tooth-lined jaw serves no identified purpose. May be used during a different stage of the organism's life cycle. Veined nettle. Wait, what was that? It said exploitable fungal enzymes. I'll keep that in mind. A common shallow water plant which frequently shows signs of predation around the edges of the leaves. Thick violet veins carry nutrients to the extremities of the fan, and brightly colored seeds grow around the base and stem. Violet bow. A common luminescent plant which grows in patches on the seabed. Writhing weed. Well adapted to both shallow waters and cave systems, this plant lives in symbiosis with coral species which forms around the base of the stems. Oh my goodness gracious alive, that took a while. But you know what? We finally made it through all that. Let's get one more. Okay. So, I just wanted to spend this episode catching up on all the logs. So I'm probably going to title it something like, I don't know, something to make it clear that we're going to be reading all the logs in this episode. But next time, folks, I'm actually going to start looking for pieces of the, what was it, the multi-purpose room? Let me check. I want to look for pieces of the, no, not that. The multi-purpose room. A thermal plant. Ooh. Wasn't there something else? Modification station, that's also it. There's a lot of parts for me to find. So, until next time, folks. Wait. One more thing. So we will need to change the battery. Actually, I was wondering why it was shaking. Weird. Okay, so let me take a look at these things real quick. We shall swap out the batteries. And we're good. Till next time, folks.